All right, now that the Chiefs game is basically over, now I can give you some honest picks. It's what to do in Week 18. So like and subscribe, hate and comment. Um, I don't usually get picks during the season, but I love to do it in the last week of the year because it's the unusual factors that can be put into play to help you in your gambling situation. So now that the Chiefs have won and have clinched the first round bye, hard to say that they've necessarily clinched home field because of the weirdness of this week and you know we all hope for the best um, for number three, and Damar Hamlin seems to be recovering. Knock on wood. Hopefully that continues because of the unusualness. Kansas City is the number one seed, but with the prospect of the neutral site, does make things a little different coming up. But let's go with tonight's game. So Jacksonville's a 6.5 point favorite. Winner take all against Tennessee for the number four seed. Um, Tennessee's lost a bunch of games in a row. Jacksonville's won five of the last six. And Tennessee's got a backup quarterback, second start. It may be easy to say, okay, Jacksonville's going to run with this. I actually disagree. I think it is going to be low scoring. Right now, the over-under is 39.5. I would take the under. I think Jacksonville will not cover. I think they will win by a field goal. It's going to be 17-10. It's going to be 17-13, excuse me. But don't be surprised if Tennessee gets an outright W. Now into the games in tomorrow and why the incentives matter. So Baltimore and Cincinnati could have been for the North title, obviously because of the situation this week. It's not. Cincinnati is a three seed. There's a weird situation where Baltimore could host a game. Um, it's probably not going to happen, even if they did win. They're a 9 point dog. They really don't have much to play for. They can't, is it really that much to be the five seed? Um, I don't think it matters that much. Cincinnati, on the other hand, because Kansas City won, they can't be the one seed. They could be playing for the two seed, okay, depending what happens with Buffalo. So I do think they'll win. I think they will easily cover the nine. Then you've got Carolina and New Orleans. This game means nothing on paper. Then you have to look at things of, are you playing for a job? Are you playing for a coach? Are you playing for the future? Now, we don't know what's going to happen with Carolina's situation and employment for a lot of these guys. Similarly with New Orleans. Um, so a lot of these guys are playing for jobs to go somewhere else. I think 3.5 point favorite for New Orleans. I think they will lose outright. I would take the over, which is 41.5. I do think that Carolina is going to win the game outright. Then you've got Cleveland and Pittsburgh. Cleveland has nothing to play for. Pittsburgh has a inside straight chance to make it to the playoffs. They need the Jets to win and New England to lose to Buffalo. Is there a shot? Yes. Is it likely? No. But Pittsburgh will play well. They will win that game at 1 o'clock. And it's a 2.5. You take Pittsburgh. Now, you got Houston and Indianapolis. This is really just a skip game. Um, Nothing to play for except potentially a better draft spot. I would skip the game. If you really need to make a bet, I would take Indianapolis um, outright win at the 2.5, but I'd probably skip that game. Then you get Minnesota and Chicago. Minnesota playing for the outside chance of the number one seed. Chicago, nothing to play for, except to be a little bit of a spoiler. Um, I would take Chicago 6 points. I think Minnesota will win the game, but I would take Chicago 6 points. They're playing for, a lot of these guys are playing for jobs, especially the quarterback, because there's a lot of talk that they may be looking to trade away their quarterback because of his struggles. Um, so I would take the points with Chicago. Then you get the Jets and Dolphins. Jets have nothing to play for except for pride. Oh, and to knock out the Dolphins. The Dolphins have been absolute garbage. Tua's not going to be in the lineup. Their coach, there have been rumors that they're going to get rid of him at the end of the season with the amount of the skid. I doubt it. But there is going to be an incentive. I don't think the Dolphins necessarily are the favorite to make that playoff spot. They're a 3-point favorite. I'm going to take the Jets outright to win that game. And I would take the over, which is 37. Then you get New England and Buffalo. Buffalo's a 7.5-point favorite. But after today, they cannot be the number one seed. Because of the unusual situation, they could get to play at a neutral site game. I think the game, it could be Minnesota. I know it's not going to be Indiana. I don't think they've formalized it as of the taping here. 7.5-point favorite. They have had New England's number. New England is playing for the playoff lives. New England wins, they are in the playoffs. But with all the emotions coming out of this week, and I hate to say that it's a bye because of what happened, but they should be more rested. I think Buffalo wins outright. So if everything holds to guard, Buffalo wins, the Jets win, I guess I have Pittsburgh going to the playoffs. To me, sounds crazy. Then you have, in the last 1 o'clock game, you have Tampa and Atlanta. Tampa's a 4-point underdog. They have nothing to play for. Atlanta sucks. It's still Brady. Does Brady want to have a losing season to go into the playoffs? I would skip the game in betting. If you needed to make a bet, I would take the under, which is 40.5, but I would skip the game overall. Then you get the 4 o'clock games. Arizona and San Francisco. Arizona has nothing to play for, except a lot of pride. San Francisco, they're playing for the playoffs. They are playing for to have a 10-win streak. They're a 14-point favorite over Arizona. Arizona's an awful team. I would take Arizona's 14 points. San Francisco's going to win the game, and I would take the over, which is 39.5. Then you've got the Chargers and Denver. Chargers are a 3-point dog because the game's in Denver, and they don't have anything to play for. Denver's atrocious. I would still take the Chargers getting the 3 points. I'd take the game outright. Then you have the Rams at Seattle. Seattle's playing for the playoff lives. If Seattle wins, they have a shot to make the playoffs. If they lose, they're out. The Rams have played well as of late. The Rams are not worried about their jobs, but except for the quarterback, right? Because their quarterback may want to play on some Sundays next year. I think the Rams win outright. Now they're getting 6 points. Do I think they're going to win by more than 6? See, I would skip the bet because I do think the Rams win, but I don't think they're going to. That 6 is a tough haul. Then you have potentially the most meaningless game of all time. Eagles need a win or tie to be the number one seed. If they lose somehow, they could fall all the way down to 5. Playing the Giants have literally nothing to play for. They are guaranteed at 6. Eagles are a 16-point favorite. I would take the 16 points. I would give the 16 points effect. You may even parlay it into a full 20 points. Eagles are going to crush the Giants. With it being said, Dallas plays at the same time as Washington. Dallas and Washington is the same time. Dallas is a 7-point favorite. I would take Dallas. And then in Sunday night game, I would bet ahead of time and take Detroit with the 5 points because I think that spread is going to tighten big time if Seattle loses this game. If Seattle wins this game, you're screwed. So if you got to put money on it early, you pick Seattle. You pick Detroit getting the 5, and be prepared to maybe hedge it with the victory. If Seattle wins, Detroit probably becomes a 1-point dog instead of a 5, and you may want to hedge it with getting some money on Green Bay. As for the national championship, Georgia's is a 12.5-point favorite. I would take the over, which is 65, and I would take Georgia to be your two-time defending national champs. As for the schedule for next week, on the playoffs, whoever wins tonight is going to be hosting the 4 o'clock game on Saturday. I would say the Monday Night Football game will include either the Monday night game or the Sunday night game will include Dallas. The other game will include Green Bay if they're the 7th seed. If they are not the 7th seed, I would say the G-Men. Like and subscribe, hate, and comment, and we'll see what happens tomorrow.